Hello everyone. Welcome to Humane Entertainment. I'm Humane. I intend to entertain you. So, how's everyone doing today? Congrats on Sefini being first. Congrats on Starlight being second. So yeah, you can always just do the shuriken thing and be third and fourth, etc. Oh, poor Starlight. Oh. Yeah, so okay. We're playing Alone Dark 1992 again. Yeah, so the reason behind me playing this again is actually because of Alone Dark Inferno last week. I knew that in Alone Dark Inferno, I would have to go through the open world, burning each root of evil, which would have grinded the story to a halt and doubled the actual playtime. Thus, I scheduled 2 Wednesdays to play through all of Alone Dark Inferno. But then, after my test run of playing Alone Dark Inferno, I found out you can simply play on New Game Plus, allowing you to skip all of that filler. So essentially, I was able to complete Alone Dark Inferno in 1 stream instead of 2. That leaves me with 1 empty slot for an additional stream. So yeah, I could have gone with Alone Dark Illumination, which is the next game in the franchise. But for maximum hilarity, I actually want to play that one with multiplayer. Yes, Alone Dark Illumination is a multiplayer game. With the subtitle of Illumination, yeah, you're neither alone nor are you in the dark. Haha, overplayed joke at this point. But just to give everyone an idea of what Alone Dark Illumination is, I prepared a little trailer here.
Are you alone? Are you afraid of the dark? Unique skills per character and all new ability progression gives each class new capabilities. Deadlier creatures, more clever than ever, make four-headed adversaries. I'll lend my voice to tell your tale, but you're still alone in the dark. Update available now.
Alright, well, yeah. Update available now. Yes, this definitely feels like an Alone Dark game indeed. But yeah, that's for some time later. Yeah, I intend to stream Alone Dark Illumination some other time, but then it'll be with multiplayer, just to have some additional wacky fun with that. But yeah, instead I have decided to play the original Alone Dark instead. This has an additional purpose, though, because after Alone Dark Illumination, I do intend to stream Alone Dark 2024, the latest game. And that game is a reboot of the first Alone Dark. And I figured by replaying the original Alone Dark, I will kind of give reminders to stuff about the game that will end up being referenced in some shape or form in the latest reboot. And also, to kind of switch things up, I'm not wearing a hat this time. Riveting, isn't it? To be fair, Edward Carnby didn't wear a hat in this game either. I just thought the hat added to the 1920s vibes. But okay, the main thing I'm switching up is the fact that I'm going to play it in the intended way. So what do I mean with that? In my first stream of Alone Dark 1992, I did some sequence breaking. And with that I mean I did some stuff out of the order that you're supposed to figure it out. For example, I immediately grabbed a heavy statuette and threw it at a piece of armor. You're not supposed to know that's what you're supposed to do until you've gone through the library and read a book about it. So now I will instead act like I don't know certain things and go through the proper order that the game wants me to. Also in the first stream, I played as Emily Hartwood. And then somewhere at the end, I realized I forgot to bring the oil lamp with me to a critical area. Thus, I was forced to revert to an older save file where I played Edward Carnby. So thus, I started with Emily Hartwood and then ended with Edward Carnby. We'll do the reverse this time. I will start with Edward Carnby and then end with Emily Hartwood. And of course, finally, the real reason I decided to play this game again, because I enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, for all its agedness and silly acting, or in fact, because of the agedness and silly acting, it always brings a smile to my face when I play it, so why not just indulge in it again? So yeah, with all that context out of the way, I think we can just start with the game itself. Let's see. First I have to actually start the game. Well, there's a good start already. Yeah, so the game decided to crash on me. Okay, well, if there's anything that's very fitting with what we've experienced in Alone in the Dark Inferno, I guess this is a little holdover from that. Okay, I think we can finally. There we go. Alone in the Dark. Frederick Renal. Funnily enough, Frederick Renal will actually be, the creator Frederick Renal will also be pointed out in the new Alone in the Dark. So that's also kind of a fun thing where the creator actually becomes kind of plot relevant. No, yeah. Special thanks to Bruno Bonnell, and H.P. Lovecraft, of course. But Bruno Bonnell, he was producer of Alone in the Dark 1 all the way to New Nightmare. I think Alone in the Dark Inferno is probably the first one where Bruno Bonnell wasn't involved. But yeah, let's begin a new game. And even though we're not gonna start with Emily Hartwood, let's still go over her voice acting, because of course we love the voice acting.
The attorney's letter came as a deep shock to me. My Uncle Jeremy had died by his own hand. The coroner's report was unequivocal. He hanged himself in the loft.
Not the loft?
Initial surprise and distress past, I considered the news. It seemed clear that Derceto had exercised a thoroughly morbid influence on my uncle's mind. That creaking old mansion with its unusual tales, its secret library door, the ancient upstairs clock, all those occult books that my uncle could not resist reading in spite of his fragile nerves.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, Emily Hartwood actually knows Jeremy Hartwood because he's her uncle, of course, which means that her intro actually gives you some clues on what to do. Like, for example, the upstairs clock, which we will push in order to find something behind, and the secret library door, there's going to be a secret door, and the occult books, which will give you hints on what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, when you play as Edward, you won't get those hints.
Fate had pointed its finger. Derceto had trapped its prey. Mr. McCarthy, the family lawyer, suggested selling the old house. I immediately opposed the idea.
Mr. McCaffrey also gets an appearance as an actual character in Alone in the Dark 2024.
My duty is clear. I must go to Derceto. I tremble at the thought of those dark corridors, those brooding portraits. Yet I am convinced that Uncle Jeremy left a note, a letter of some kind explaining his fateful decision.
Oh boy, are we gonna find that letter?
I remember his voice saying, "Look at the piano, Emily. Look harder. Maybe the secret drawer will yield up an explanation. I have the feeling things will not be so simple. Life is a mystery containing more mysteries. Jeremy taught me that much."
That's actually a big thing about the Alone in the Dark 2024 game, is that a lot of characters that we simply read about in this game, they end up being actual characters that you actually meet instead. Which, granted, again, it doesn't make you as alone in the dark anymore. But to be fair, I have already mentioned this in Alone in the Dark Inferno. I don't think the idea of alone in the dark is meant to be that you actually are physically alone, or nor actually in the dark. The meaning of the title, in my opinion, is actually you are alone in the dark, as in you are the only one in this place not aware of what's actually going on. I think that's a better definition of how you're supposed to see the title alone, or read the title Alone in the Dark, than physically being alone in the dark. That's how I interpret things, and because really the games really are not that much about being alone in the dark when you really put all of them together. So yeah.
Now is the time to confront the mysteries. Derceto is waiting for me. I pray that my fear is nothing more than the fruit of my imagination. Nothing will ever persuade me that my uncle was insane. But why did he, according to the police report, block the loft window with the old wardrobe?
Yeah, so those who have seen my first playthrough, they will know why he blocked the loft window with the old wardrobe, which is what we're gonna do immediately the moment the game starts. But that's Emily's thing. Let's see how the unlucky Edward Carnby, what his reason is for being here.
On my door, a dull brass plate says Private Detective. The few friends I have call me Carnby. The others call me the Reptile. I don't care to think what my banker calls me. These days, I leave my letters unopened. Bills and threats to send in the receivers just ruin my day.
Yeah, but again, this has been pointed out. I know this has been pointed out several times. When has anyone ever called him the Reptile? It's hilarious to me that he says this, and even the Alone in the Dark 2024 game never mentioned him being called the Reptile, which is it's hilarious to me because Alone in the Dark 2024 really is made by big fans, like the biggest fans of the original Alone in the Dark, and they try to reference almost everything. Yet even they did not actually reference Edward Carnby being called the Reptile, and I'm like, I would have loved to have some kind of joke how he says that everybody calls him the Reptile, but nobody actually does. I don't know. It feels like something they could have done there, but yeah.
When an antique dealer called Gloria Allen contacted me, I slipped into my best shirt, holstered my .38, and got to her shop as fast as I could. I was expecting something sordid. Blackmail, probably.
Yeah, so in this continuity, in this first game, it's Gloria Allen who has contacted Edward Carnby to go to Derceto. In the reboot, it is going to be Emily Hartwood instead, so that Emily Hartwood and Edward Carnby stories actually kind of get mixed together. But Gloria Allen is not forgotten in the 2024 game. There will be some references to Gloria Allen. So fun how they were able to kind of merge together some things in that game.
Boy, was I wrong. What I was asked to do was visit a property called Derceto and find a piano in the loft. It was an old piano with secret drawers. The kind people who buy stuff in antique stores go crazy over. The Derceto house is supposed to be piled high with classy junk. Furniture, books, paintings. It looked like whoever owned Derceto was about to get cleaned out.
Oh, hi, Hugh. Oh, hi, Kid Wicket. Okay, so, you know what? I think I might as well see if I can do this. What was it again? Shout out. No, it was with... Okay, is someone able to do a proper shout-out thing? I keep forgetting how to actually do that. Shout-out? Is it... Ah, there we go. I think I got it. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, Kid, yeah, how you doing? I'm doing good, Kid. Yeah, so Kid Wicked, he I mostly know him as yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mostly know him with some collaborations with Mur, and well, he's been pretty helpful with some tips here and there about Mega Man Battle Network, because I do these game trade things with Landproud Kopaka, and yeah, it was nice to have an additional fan of Mega Man Battle Network and all that. But yeah, Kid, for context, this is actually the second time that I am playing Alone in the Dark 1992, and I just love it for its yeah, overacting and all that. But I'm also just a fan of the Alone in the Dark franchise in the first place. So yeah, this is Edward Carnby. Edward Carnby is going to end up being the big fan. Oh, go. Yeah. Yeah, but Edward Carnby, he's going to be the main character for most of the other games. Well, generally all the other games, actually. But yeah, in this case, he's just one of 2 playable characters.
I was going to bring up the subject of money when Gloria Allen handed me $150 and a key. I kept myself from grinning at the thought of my banker's surprise. He doesn't like his victims getting away.
In Alone in the Dark 2024, Emily Hartwood will also pay $150, I believe. Yeah, a lot of characters tend to kind of point out how 150 is not a lot, actually, for what he's actually supposed to be doing, mostly because of how dangerous everything is. And I don't know, I think it's kind of funny how they keep poking fun at the $150.
I looked over a copy of the police report. The former owner of Derceto, a guy called J. Hartwood, had hanged himself in the loft. The coroner concluded it was a clear-cut case of suicide. I promised Gloria Allen I'd give the place a look over.
Okay, also, just with the voice acting, like, obviously, this is when voice acting was new in video games, so they kind of made sure to talk as slowly as possible in order to articulate everything. But this, along with the booze that you see on this table, it kind of it makes it look like he's just an alcoholic. Like I looked over the copy. I was about to comment on the voice acting. Yeah, the voice acting is glorious in this game. I love it. I love it.
My report will be ready in a couple of days. I've been reading up on the history of the old house. It's the kind of place ghosts run away from in terror. Grisly murders, curses, lunacy. Luckily, devil worship makes me smile, so this is my idea of a paid vacation.
Oh, I just experienced the same with Shadow Hearts. Oh yeah, that I really do want to see if we can somehow stream Shadow Hearts somewhere in between. I just have a lot of other things planned right now, but we'll see. He did sound like he was drunk. Now that you mentioned it, I can't unhear it, luckily. No, actually, him being an alcoholic, I think the further we go in the franchise, the more it becomes canon that he actually is an alcoholic, which is hilarious to me, because in the previous game that we played last week, Alone Dark Inferno, that was the first ever game where alcohol is not a healing item for Edward Carnby, which feels blasphemous, actually, but no, I think it's kind of funny. Oh, me and hubby just finished 1 Star 2. Oh, that's great, awesome, nice. Yeah, I love all the games where they didn't care about how toxic the dialogues were. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the 1920s, so, all right. Anyway, let's continue and see what amazing graphics this game has for 1992. Okay, I make jokes about how amazing the graphic is, but to be fair, this is 1992. Yeah, Final Fantasy was still 2D at that point. Pokemon has not come out yet, so really, just to give some kind of context, the 3D graphics may look very much aged right now, but they are revolutionary for a time. So yeah, my favorite Battle Network game of the series, the second, has insane dialogue that always cracked me up. Yeah, I have looked up some stuff about 2. That's hilarious sometimes. I thought 3 was not 3. I think 4 was the one that actually has legs go, right? Legs go. Yeah, toxic and very inappropriate indeed. All right. Anyway, yeah, let's watch the Let's Go is in 4. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, time to see these amazing graphics. I do like the pixel art. The background is 2D. The models, the characters, like the car in this case, they're 3D. Here's our first jump scare. Ah, a frog. Froggy. Yes. Okay, so here we get another little tradition for this franchise, which is this upcoming camera angle. Here, just... Oh no, someone is watching while the main character is arriving. Yeah, almost every Alone Dark game has such a moment. Yeah, so this cutscene is completely in-game, by the way. Nice big impress, yes. And just to give a little tour, I don't know if anyone here has played the original Resident Evil in the meantime, but yeah, just like the Resident Evil 1, the mansion is pretty much built out of 2 halves, the west half and the east half, and there's a middle point to all of it, which are these stairs. So that's how you can kind of orient where you are, even though there's no map system. Well, okay. At least not a complete map. There is going to be one little way in order to get some kind of map of this game, but it's not a map system. But yeah, speaking of Resident Evil, had it not been for this game, Resident Evil would not have been made. This game pretty much set up a lot of things that Resident Evil eventually perfected. Okay, so as pointed out in Emily Hartwood's intro, let's push the wardrobe in front of the window. Okay, and since there's a trapdoor here, let's also just push this on top of it. I guess instead of waiting for it, I'm just gonna continue. Alright, so just open up the wardrobe because we can do more than just pushing it. Okay. So we got ourselves an old Indian cover. Oh, okay, yeah. Music is playing. So there's a rifle. You don't need to use the rifle yet, though, because we cleverly blocked the window. And thus, I guess the monster can't get through the wardrobe there. And there's also this trapdoor, which should bonk. Right? It was supposed to bonk. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So because the chest is on top of it, that monster can't enter through there as well. Anyway, Emily Hartwood's intro did... there we go. Emily Hartwood's intro did talk about there being secret drawers in the piano. So let's listen to this lovely letter, which, yeah, it's just iconic to me. Which, yeah.
They are coming! I have freed hellish forces, and now the price must be paid. Derceto is the prey of evil. The sun has set. They will find my body, but will not have my soul. I can imagine the master's fury and the terror in the hearts of his slaves. I hear their footsteps. Some may understand what I have done. May God forgive me. Farewell, Jeremy Hartwood.
All right. I think I've shown this letter several times at this point, but I never get tired of it. Okay. So a book, which, yes, we have already checked in previous playthrough. We cannot put the book back in the bookcase because both Emily Hartwood and Edward, they are just terrible at putting things back where they were. That said, I have something to say about this book, actually. So I'm not gonna go through the entire book yet. I still want to stick to the cover right now.
Fragment of the Myth of the Golden Fleece. Translation, Edward Villeban. Hesperides Publications.
Okay, so in the first stream, I pointed out there's something important about this book which gets revealed in the Alone in the Dark 2024 reboot. Well, I figured I might as well just point it out now. So, remember how in Alone in the Dark The New Nightmare, that Edward Carnby is in fact like this fated warrior who keeps incarnating every other generation. Yeah, so the Edward Carnby we play now is not the same as the Edward Carnby that we played in Alone in the Dark The New Nightmare. The one from The New Nightmare was the incarnation of the 2000s. This one is of the 1920s. Thing is, the Edward Carnby we are playing now is also not the first Edward Carnby. The files of New Nightmare say that there's been many Edward Carnbys before. And here's the interesting part. In Alone in the Dark 2024, Edward will talk to someone, and that person calls Edward de Villeban. So, yeah, this indicates that the first ever book that you find in Alone in the Dark 1992 is written by a previous Edward Carnby. I don't know, I think that's a pretty cool way to connect everything, and I figured I might as well just point it out here before we actually reach Alone in the Dark 2024, lest more people would forget this detail by then, because yeah, I did point out, try to remember Edward de Villeban. I don't think a lot of people would be able to remember that, so I figured I just pointed out now, hey, Edward de Villeban, a previous Edward Carnby. Look at that. Anyway, yeah, let's actually continue with this book.
Then Perseus came across Ichios, who had been turned into stone. He spoke to his companions and said, "Beware of the Medusa. He who looks into their eyes is doomed to the same fate as that which befell poor Ichios, and will never more set eyes on Seriphos." "Must we go blindfolded?" asked Eumolpus. "Take up your bronze shields and polish them until they flash in the sun," answered Perseus. "Fill your hearts with courage. May Artemis guide us as though we were an arrow from her quiver."
All right.
But Eumolpus was not satisfied. "Why do that, Perseus? Is 3 inches of sharpened metal not enough to destroy these accursed creatures?" Then Perseus drew his sword, which shone and glittered in the sun, and with it he dazzled Eumolpus.
Dazzled.
"Now what can you see?" the companions of Zeus' sons laughed. "Let us set to work, so that our shields may shine like mirrors."
Yeah, so, what this book is, well, I figured this game has a weight limit, so it's best to try to get rid of any books that you are holding that you don't need anymore. Otherwise, you're gonna not be able to grab some items again. Anyway, let's be completely disrespectful and just throw this book away. But, all right. Thank you for the hydrate. Or as Jan Lee says it, drink some water. Okay, yeah. So yeah, what was the purpose of that book? That book essentially talks about how they defeated the Medusa with mirrors. And we are going to meet some enemies who essentially kind of act like Medusas. So yeah, we're gonna have to find some mirrors in order to defeat it. Alright, I guess, survive the loft. Okay, so I did point out already in the first stream that weirdly enough the bow is actually optional. Like you can just throw the arrows instead of actually shooting with a bow. But let's do it as intended and actually use the bow. Okay. I think that's all there is. Yeah, nothing important. Yeah, so that floor, if we actually continue through the floor now, suddenly we fall down and we die. It's an instant kill thing. Again, is it cheap? It is, but to be fair, it doesn't take that long to get back here in the first place. So even if you did not save or anything, it's mostly just a little shock thing just to make sure that you watch where you're going and all that. Alright, there's a key here. Well, fortunately there is already something here that is locked, in fact. There, it is locked. So, you can just immediately use this key here. Okay, so an old cavalry saber. I'm not sure if I actually showed it breaking in the first stream. So, you know what? I think for the sake of old cavalry saber, yeah, I'm just gonna show this saber being used, because you would think, oh, it's a good weapon to start off with, right? Well, that's kind of the trap thing. Oh no, a zombie! Let's use the sword that I have. Oh, I kind of expected it to. Well, I know that another zombie will arrive, so let's just... Oh, there he is. There. Okay, so the saber is so old, it actually breaks after a while. We will get a sword that doesn't break, but yeah, just to start off with, this saber breaks. Okay, so should we just leave this saber blade behind? No, actually, because we need both. Yeah, we need this saber, in fact, to open up a door later. So you do have to keep it in your inventory. Which is why it's actually better to just can kick him to death. Because it turns out, even though a sword can break, Edward Carnby's legs are completely unbreakable, you know? Alright. Started kicking. Okay, oh. It's locked. Well, let's find another key then. Oh, actually, come to think of it. This chest key, we don't need it anymore. A vase. Well, we've been breaking everything anyway, so we don't want the broken vase, we want the key that's inside it. Oh, well, we do have a rifle, let's actually use it. Oh, missed there. Oh. There we go. Okay. You only need 2 shots with the rifle in order to actually kill this zombie chicken. Yeah, it's supposed to be a zombie chicken. I don't know why it's supposed to be a zombie chicken. It does not look like a chicken at all, but yeah, it is supposed to be a zombie chicken. Oh, right, it's locked. So, okay, 2 small mirrors. Okay, if you, oh, you know what? Mirror. Okay. Let's see. I think I might as well just show it because I don't think I actually show. Okay, no. First, let's actually go through this first. Okay, first aid case. Okay, so this is how you heal with first aid cases, right? No, you actually heal with what's inside of the first aid case, which is a flask. Yeah, JH. So I guess Jeremy Hartwood just hides flasks of alcohol in first aid cases in this mansion. Alcohol, indeed. So yeah, Edward Carnby has 19 health right now. You would think, okay, so I don't know what the maximum health is, so should I just keep this flask in my inventory just in case? Actually, it's best to just immediately heal whenever you can, because there is no maximum health. Like, 19 health, flask just adds more to the health. Just do it. Just every healing item, just immediately use it in this game. And thus a legend was born, indeed. Okay, so yeah. And we don't need all these, so there I go. Yeah, 29, so I guess that's 10 health in addition. Okay, I think this would be a good spot to show it. Yeah, mirror is good. Okay. Okay, so these are the Medusa-like monsters. I think they do instant kill, but if not, then them attacking you would break the mirrors, if I remember correctly. So let's see. Or it doesn't damage you at all. I guess I never actually tried to actually get hit by these things. Oh, there we go. Oh, it does. Okay, there you go. Okay, so notice a small broken mirror. There's now no way for you to beat the game on this save anymore because, yeah, you need these mirrors to be to not be broken. So yeah, similar to the ground that makes you fall behind there. It doesn't take that long to just get back here in the first place. There's no way to fix it. No, there's no way to fix it. So yeah. But again, it doesn't take that long to actually get back here, and it's mostly just a shock thing just to make you more careful about doing things in this game. I'm not saying that it's the best way to do this, but it does make you more careful as a result. But yeah. And that's, yeah. The whole mirrors thing defeats these monsters. Love the sound effects. Actually, speaking of lovely sound effects, just listen to this evil laugh. Oh no! Who trapped us? Goofy? Okay. Beat the night gaunts. Yeah. All right. So yeah, in the first stream, I very quickly defeated this knight armor because I already know what I'm supposed to be doing, but you're not supposed to know you're supposed to do that until you read a certain book. So, for the sake of the intended manner, we are going to leave this knight armor alone for now. Oh, yeah. Sneaky? Yeah. If you don't properly sneak, that ghost there will become a destructive ball tornado for some reason, and would be an instant kill from that point on. This portrait here is probably the only interactable thing that actually makes a difference based on whether you are playing Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood. If you played Emily Hartwood and you interact with it, she would say, hey, it's a picture of Jeremy Hartwood and me. Whereas, because Edward Carnby is clearly not a relative of Jeremy Hartwood, he instead says, a photograph of Jeremy with his niece. Ah, there you go. That's the big difference in the gameplay. Okay, well, actually, there are some more gameplay differences, actually. Emily Hartwood is faster in running, but Edward Carnby has a bit more range in his kick. That's mostly the big differences between the two. So, yeah. Yeah, and as I pointed out in the first playthrough, the poker, complete red herring. Do not grab the poker, it only takes up space. The matchbox you do need. Oh boy. This is not the right camera angle, actually. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Okay. Sneaky. Okay. One thing that I also did not do in the first playthrough is I actually did not look into this closet, because here's a box of cartridges to give you some more ammo for the rifle. Yeah, so while I was playing this in the first playthrough, I was kind of wondering, when did I get another set of cartridges for the rifle again? Turns out I simply walked right past it. Okay, reload it. So we can't get enough of of Jeremy Hartwood's acting, right? So how about we just have some more of that?
Diary of Jeremy Hartwood.
September 27th, 1924. I have decided to keep this diary. Too many inexplicable events have taken place recently. Never have dreams so haunted my every waking moment. Perhaps my romantic mind was too dull, and has only now woken up to these new paths and visions. Some, seeing my recent paintings, may question my sanity. I can only ask them, what is sanity?
How do you define sanity?
September 28th, 1924. The night is pitch black. I am again drenched in sweat. I was wandering in the dunes, among giant standing stones. They were arranged in a circle, and the wind whistled about them. I plunged my hand into the soil and felt that repulsive thing which was trying to catch me.
Okay, so the standing stones. Yeah, I was wandering in dunes among giant standing stones. First of all, it was pointed out to me during the previous stream, or in the first stream, that you can find paintings of these dunes, these among giant standing stones. But even more importantly, in the 2024 game, you actually end up at those dunes with those giant standing stones. So yeah, fun little thing where this thing gets followed up, I guess.
It seized me. I struggled to break free of its loathsome embrace and managed to tear my hand away. It was covered in sticky substance. I was gripping a knife.
Yeah, so the knife being the sacrificial dagger, which we will use in this game, and also gets a more relevant role in the 2024 version.
October 5th, 1924. The stone circle is a pentacle. Derceto's library is filled with books on the occult. I will study those books until I find some explanation for the dreams. The visions that haunt me must be connected to my discoveries. I shall have to undertake a profound exploration of my dreams. December 16th. Dear God, I have found the knife. It was hidden here, and what I have learned fills me with apprehension. It is a sacrificial dagger belonging to some unholy cult. The thought of that blade tearing through human flesh horrifies me, yet I must continue my research. Derceto is a storehouse of treasures.
Also, this whole thing about Jeremy Hartwood kind of learning to, explore his dreams and all that. That's also a much more important thing in the 2024 version.
Was my father right, after all?
Oh yeah, in Alone Dark New Nightmare, I did forget to actually point this out. Yeah, so of the Morton family, you have Jeremy Morton, and you also have Howard Morton. And then finally you have Alan Morton and Obed Morton, who are the two main Mortons that you actually interact with, mostly as antagonistic forces. The funny thing is, in this, the Hartwood family, Jeremy is, the main Hartwood. I guess Emily is technically the main Hartwood, but Jeremy is the uncle of Emily, and the father of Jeremy is Howard. So it's, funnily enough, it is kind of reversed. Like this Jeremy is the son of this Howard, whereas in the Morton family, Howard Morton is the son of Jeremy Morton. Just thought it was kind of funny how that's kind of switched around based on family there, but yeah.
January 23rd. I spend all my days plunged in dusty books. The servants are convinced I am mad. At night, I awaken them with my screams. The dreams are draining what sanity I still have. I have tried staying awake, but in vain. My visions have changed. No doubt the influence of my father's research. February 7th, 1925. The Dark Man, that is what I call him, has revealed his true face to me. He appeared, as usual, near the fireplace, but this time he approached me. His terrible smile will haunt me to my dying day. His breath was ice, and his burning eyes froze me. I could not move. I know, as surely as I have ever known anything, that the face I saw, the face that has turned my nights into hellish torture, is the mask of death.
Okay, so might as well just point out, the whole thing about masks. Yeah, the main antagonist of the 2024 game, as well as, at the very least, someone who's kind of behind the scenes of all this in this game, is Nyarlathotep, who is an H.P. Lovecraft monster. And his whole shtick is kind of like masks and all that. So the fact that he's pointing out the mask of death, that's kind of a little reference there to Nyarlathotep. We will get some more overt Nyarlathotep references as time goes on, but yeah, Nyarlathotep is essentially like the big main baddie and all that.
March 10th. My exhaustion is beyond description. The endless reading burns my eyes. It seems that pirates frequented the area. Dr. Herbert insists I keep to my bed. I have moved to another bedroom and sleep much better now. The Dark Man has not gone, however. I know it. He will wait for as long as he must.
Yeah, so the name The Dark Man, that's also from H.P. Lovecraft, also yet again with Nyarlathotep.
Unless I, Jeremy Hartwood, can find a way to send him back to whatever hell he comes from. March 11th. My poor knowledge of Greek and Latin is a serious handicap to my reading. I have, nevertheless, made a great step forward. I drew the symbol on the floor. He can no longer go there. I want him to understand that I can do the same thing in my bedroom.
I don't know why, I just love the way he says that I can do the same thing in my bedroom. But, yeah, okay, so, yeah, he drew the symbol on the floor, and it seems to have stopped the influence of not just the Dark Man, it's also just dark forces in general for a bit. We will, in fact, use the symbol that he drew.
I can imagine his rage and frustration. Only last night he found his way back into my dreams. March 13th. The translation will seriously dent what money I have left. I cannot paint. My pictures are clearly the work of a lunatic. The Collector Thornhill's embarrassed smile was proof of that.
In the 2024 game, we will actually, or at least in Edward's story, we will end up in the Collector Thornhill's shop. So, another little reference that they kind of pick up.
March 29th. He has come back. He found the door to my dreams. I am too weary to attempt any defense. I have no strength left to fight, and he knows it. He considers me dead already. Could I possibly? March 30th. How ironic! The cave my father sought for so many years is here, beneath the house. Waits. The butler discovered a crack in the cellar wall. A breeze blows in through it, icy and repugnant. I am filled with horror at the thought of my father dying in this place.
I just love the line, a breeze blows through it, icy and repugnant specifically. Just the way he says it, it sounds so weirdly Shakespearean. A breeze blows through it, icy and repugnant. Oh. Anyway, Waits, the butler, he will also appear kinda in the 2024 game, mostly in hindsight, like through text and all that, yet again like in here. However, because every document is narrated by the one who wrote it, Waits does have a voice in the 2024 game, and he's in fact voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. So yeah, Spider-Man is actually in the 2024 game. Who'd have thought?
I will carry to my grave the vision of his face contorted in the agony of that fatal heart attack. His body was twisted. He had wept. His fingernails were torn and bloody from scrabbling at the floor. Dr. Gray concluded that death had been due to a heart attack. It was Waits, who some time later was informed that my poor father had in fact bitten off his tongue and choked on his own blood.
All right. Dr. Gray, he's actually going to be a much more important character in the 2024 game. So, yeah, look forward to him. Like, I kind of love the idea that okay, somehow love the voice so much, yeah. So, somewhere down the line, when we reach Alone Dark 2024, I will kind of point out something, which is that, weirdly enough, we have this weird headcanon that Dr. Gray has this odd obsession with lobotomies. Like, every time I think of lobotomies, I just think, oh, does Dr. Gray want to do this or something? I don't know. Just a stupid thing that I kind of have in my mind about this franchise.
March 31st. I explored the caverns in a dream. The dark man came with me. Strangely, I felt almost well. How can I describe what I saw? No. What words are capable of explaining such evil?
Yeah, you know what? Through hindsight, I do kind of find it funny. Like, how can I describe what I saw? A giant worm. It's a giant worm. It's either the Chthonian he was so disturbed about, or it was an evil tree that has a human in it. Which is like, okay, I guess that's kind of disturbing, but I feel like you can pretty easily describe it, really, Jeremy. Like, you're an artist. You paint. You should have a bit of better idea of how to describe things. Come on.
I realized that my death was of no interest to him. The dark man wants something else. He seeks a body. His avid servants are now free. I am the cause. It is almost funny. Curses on Derceto. From the foundations to the very rooftop. I can no longer struggle, let alone eradicate the evil that grips the house. The end is very near. I can feel it. I have taken the decision to... May he who finds this diary pray for my soul.
All right. All right, Jeremy. And this will then lead to the Jeremy's letter, the suicide letter and all that. Anyway, we did have some threatening music, so how about we actually face whatever is threatening here? Oh no, it's the zombie chicken. Okay. Oh. Sheesh, I missed twice. There we go. Okay, that's enough. Okay, there's nothing in that thing. Let's see. Yeah, reload is fine. Okay, this creature, you cannot kill it, but you do need this jug. And, well, as a good little extra thing, is that this closet also has a first aid case, which is pretty useful. Let's hope we don't die immediately because of this monster here. Oh, it actually missed. Okay, well. Got the jug. Okay. And like I said, let's just immediately drink because Edward's an alcoholic. No. There we go. So we don't need the empty flask anymore. Oh, yeah. His amazing throwing again. just. Oh, I will throw it right now, and it just ends up right on the on your foot there. This room is in the dark, so I'm alone in the dark, you could say. Okay, we want to use the oil lamp, but the oil lamp is empty, so we use the oil can instead to fill up the lamp, and then we use that matchbox in order to light up this place. So, first there's this very heavy statuette, which for now, we will not grab, because right now, theoretically, for a first playthrough, we would not know what we're supposed to be doing with this heavy statuette yet. And it is heavy. Because it's heavy, it will, it will make it so that our weight limit is very easily reached. So right now, we'll just leave the statuette as it is. We do want to read this book, though.
A Brightness from Afar by Lord Boleskine. An account of his celebrated voyage to New England, 1824, Alistair Publications, Cambridge.
Yeah, I think I already explained this in the first stream, but Alone Dark 1 was actually supposed to be part of a trilogy, and not as in the Alone Dark trilogy. It was supposed to be a part of an anthology called Virtual Dreams. And with it, there was another game called Shadow of the Comet, which is also H.P. Lovecraft-like. Lord Boleskine is a character from Shadow of the Comet, in fact. So this is kind of like a little reference to the other part of the trilogy, I guess. This book, however, also appears in Alone Dark 2024 as a collectible item. So it's another little reference there. Anyway, let's see how Lord Boleskine is like with his narration.
Following a splendid journey, the sunny harbour came into sight. The locals were much impressed with one's arrival in their midst. One had time to sketch several of them and notice signs of degeneracy. Some children showed one their queer hands that would inspire uneasiness.
And one also talks in third person the whole time.
Upon the promise of a few coins, a child is undertaken to reveal to one a most prodigious phenomenon of a natural order. One admits to being skeptical as to the prodigiousness of the marvel, whatever it may be. Indeed, one suspects it to be little more than an evening stroll to some charming wooden hut situated in the forest hereabouts. One will nonetheless go, for it is always well to submit to such local enthusiasms.
Yeah, so for those who have missed it, Starlight has kind of a thing where whenever the word phenomenon is said, she just likes to add the whole sound to it. So, yeah. It's It's from the phenomena. Phenomenon.
One admits to being somewhat flabbergasted. The Milky Way shone like the fires of the apocalypse from the inky celestial vault. Certain distant stars, normally invisible to the naked eye, were clearly visible, glittering indeed with a strange intensity. The heavy clouds that had settled above the village had no hold over that place. It would be pointless to offer here the names of the constellations one perceived in utter clarity. Apart from the interminable length of such a list, one might conceivably risk being charged with exaggeration.
No, exaggeration with this voice. You're welcome, yes, indeed.
The cross cast its shadow on the ground. The sea in the distance was dead calm. Tonight, one will return to that spot and draw those stars. Tomorrow night, one will at last see Halley's comet in all its brilliance. The youngster will carry torches, despite one's developed sense of direction. Honed by years of travel, one feels incapable of finding one's way through the dark forest unaided.
Yeah, the Halley's Comet, this whole thing is essentially a reference to Shadowed Comet, but Halley's Comet is the titular comet.
The drawings will, one is convinced, set light to the souls of men. Such a moon! One lost count of the craters, so sharply was their definition. Loath as one is to seem excessive in one's appraisal, one cannot but feel that the forest clearing is indeed a place outside the common laws of time and space. Surely it is not an hallucination.
Oh, hello, Geez. Have you played Comet? A very long time ago. I have not played it after the one time. Maybe somewhere down the line I will play it along with Prisoner of Ice, which is also kind of like part of the whole trilogy thing. So yeah, let's see. Can I also do this? Okay, so it's shout out. No. Ah, there we go. Shout out. There we go. Did a quick shout out to the G's here. The G's did inform me of several things in the first stream, like with some paintings and all that. And the G's also does a lot of speed runs. He has done speed runs of several of these Alone Dark games. So yeah, shout out to the G's here. Okay. Oh wait. That was the wrong. There we go.
How strange to consider that idle conversation, some research in the British Museum, and a voyage to this backward village should culminate in so astounding a discovery. It may be that others have noticed the extraordinary nature of that place. How else could one explain the presence of that cross?
What's the third game in that trilogy? Oh, Prisoner of Ice. Have you not played Prisoner of Ice? Essentially, these three games were kind of meant to be like an anthology trilogy. Prisoner. Yeah, Prisoner of Ice. Yeah. Yeah. So it is Alone in the Dark, Shadow of the Comet, Prisoner of Ice. Those were kind of like the three trilogies things. Haven't played it yet? No. Okay. Well, yeah. There you go. Then something for you to try out sometime. Yeah. But yeah, eventually, out of this trilogy, Alone in the Dark is kind of like the one that actually became a proper franchise on its own. But the initial idea was that it's these three as an anthology thing. One day for sure. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Stream Elements has pointed out this thing here. Yeah. So you notice the little current clue. A scythe-shaped guitar is outside the building. There is blood on it and sharp enough to kill. You can get a recap of the current murder mystery by typing !mystery recap in the chat. So you can also get a reminder of the current clues with !current clues and !people of interest in it to get, well, the people of interest and all that. Just a little thing that you can do. Additionally, what you can also do is you can how much was it again? I think it was just For 10 shuriken, you can do a daily investigation where you can look into one of the clues in order to figure out the murder mystery. So, yeah. Okay, so just to have a proper, how you say, progression and all that, we will not grab the heavy statuette yet, because supposedly for a first playthrough, you would not know what you're actually supposed to do with the statuette. That's something we find out with a book. So I'm just gonna leave it here for now. I know it's not the most efficient thing to do, but just to have some kind of experience here. And we don't need the oil lamp now. Okay, cover, sure. Okay, I think I might as well just show again. Oh no! Well, better do something about that. Like, covering it up, you could say, with this thing. There we go. That solves it. Well, that solves that. Oh no. But then this happens instead. Well, yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to solve that. Well, we do have a bow, but we don't have arrows. So, guess we'll have to find some arrows then. Oh, question for the chat. What's your opinion on this game so far? Yeah, let's go downstairs. Okay, so I think in my first stream, I just immediately grabbed the arrows and just left. But just to give some context of the lay of the land and all that. Oh, there's a dance hall here, and in this dance hall, well, this door is locked, and that other door is also locked. So just to give some context of this dance hall before we actually reach this thing. There's a record here. So yeah, you will find several records. I just happen to know this record will not be usable. But yeah, for a first-time playthrough, you might haul a lot of records along with you. But it's just going to fill up your inventory that way. But yeah, just know that there are several records and we only need one specific record. All right. Why do I call it spiders? I wonder. Arrow, arrow, arrow. Oh, look at that. Spiders. Yeah, so from this point on, that room essentially is inaccessible. I mean, you can go in there, but it's very difficult to actually run past those spiders. All right, so we've had a lot of booze. Oh, and we get a key here. We're gonna use the key pretty soon. We had a lot of booze, but is that the only healing item? No, because there's a biscuit box. So, feel better. Well, fortunately, Edward actually leaves behind the empty box. Otherwise, I would have thought he actually ate the entire box. Okay, here's a knife. There's actually two knives. I think you only need one knife, really. But at least in this case, you only need one knife just to actually fight off against a enemy that appears here. Oh yeah, might as well just point out. No water. So, the jug, you can't fill it with just the faucets and all that. You do need to figure out a way to actually fill it up with something else instead of the faucets. No. Water. well, threatening music. Oh, here's another zombie. Yeah, this is why I grabbed the knife. Yeah, then to save space, I'm just going to get rid of this knife now. Okay, well, fortunately, here's some fat of water here, so now I can fill up the jug. Fill the jug. Some more oil is always nice. Okay, here's a box of shoes. Oh, so what? Do we need some shoes or something? Well, inside is a revolver. And if you've read the newspaper, you would know that this revolver is from a certain manufacturer called Big Iron Steel. Like, there's like the most testosterone overdosed gun manufacturers ever, if you actually read all that. Big Iron Steel, yes. So you actually read the whole thing about the advertisements and all that. It is really the most testosterone overdosed gun manufacturer I've ever read in my entire life, and yeah, I just think it's hilarious, the name Big Iron Steel. Okay. Oh, bottle soup. Cannot carry anything else. Okay, let's see what I can get rid of. Okay. Speaking of water.
Yeah, that's right. I'm stretching.
Yeah.
You got a problem with that? I want to be able to fully enjoy taking you apart without some pulled muscle slowing me down.
Exactly, Sonic. Thank you, Starlight, for reminding Sonic to remind me to stretch. Okay, let's see. Diary of a Journey, Matchbox. Oh, yeah, the gramophone is probably the big thing that is weighing me down right now. Oh, I guess I forgot to actually get rid of this. Okay. Okay, so we don't need the empty oil can. Is that enough to already grab this thing? It is? Okay, well. Oh, right. Was there something in here as well? Another matchbox. In case you missed the matchbox upstairs. So yeah, oh no, are we gonna fight all of these zombies? Well, we got a spot of soup, which, if you actually try to eat it, I might as well just show it. If you try to eat it, yuck, some human flesh. So yeah, Edward knows how human flesh, oh, sheesh. I don't think I should have. Okay, wait, I can just run past him like this. Okay, there. Drop put. There we go. I guess if you just serve dinner, then it's fine. Oh. Is the... That's interesting. So if you actually aggro that one zombie, he will actually continue to attack you, even though you put the pot of soup there. This is fascinating. I never knew that. I really should have saved more often. Oh well. I'll just speed through this. Also, now that I know that I still have that oil can. That was a nice throw for this game. Oh, right, the knife. Oh, didn't intend to open that door, but okay. Okay. Yeah, come think of it, I don't need the matchbox in here. I already have another matchbox. Pot of soup. Okay. Yeah, so the pot of soup is human meat, so it's not for us to eat. Turns out these zombies do like to eat human flesh, though. Let's just make it so that it doesn't eat our human flesh. There you go. So as he politely moves back to where he's supposed to be. Okay, if you look in here... Oh no, it was somewhere else. Never mind. I thought we would have found another record there, but okay, so why did we fill up that jug of water? Because well, first of all, there's a lighter here, and yeah, that thing, the smoke will actually hurt us. So if I did not fill up the jug of water. Well, this is how you would find out. Oh, I should fill up the jug with water. Which I guess would be the more intended way for you to find out you're supposed to use the jug of water here. I did not grab the gun either, come to think of it. Oh, well. Okay, fill the jug. I do need this oil can. Well, you know what? I don't think I need to have another oil can. I think one oil can is already enough to last the entire playthrough. Still, let's just try to grab all these things. Especially the revolver from Big Iron Steel. Alright. Water jug. There we go. Pour the jug's content on the cigars. Alright, this is yet again another record. This is not the record we are supposed to use. This book, however, might be a little bit informative.
Memories by Alistair Boleskine. Printed in London, A. Machen, editor, 1833.
Well, we've already read something of Boleskine, so we know the trend of how he talks.
It was during a conversation with G that one first heard of the New England fishing village of I. The area was apparently the ideal place from which to witness unusual phenomena in space. The quality of the air, along with the conjunction of several favorable factors, made one impatient to get started. Having gleaned what information one could from the British Museum, one set off with all haste. One's work on space and comets in particular had met with a warm response, and one thought it judicious to include several original sketches of the phenomenon, sketches which one felt were sure to arouse a great deal of keen interest in the scientific circles of 1834. One refers naturally to the passage of Halley's comet.
Have I mentioned this is Foreshadow of the Comet?
Editor's note. Lord Boleskine's memoirs end at this point. Who knows what extraordinary contributions he might still have made had he not succumbed during his visit to New England to dementia, followed by an early death in St. Andrew's Hospital.
Okay, so St. Andrew, so in Shadow Comet, we do see Lord Boleskine in St. Andrew's Hospital. Not only that, St. Andrew's Hospital is actually where this Edward Carnby was born. So, fun little thing that links them together that way. Okay, so this is locked. We did have another key though. I don't want to open that door. Okay, come think of it. Okay, entrance. Black hole. Yeah, so just for completion's sake, how about I just yet again show what happens if you just try to exit? That happens. So yeah, don't try to exit yet. Anyway, the other reason why... You know what? I did just save anyway. The other reason why we don't want to go through this door yet is because... Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is... well, we shouldn't know it yet, but this is in fact the main villain. And the only way to fight against him is if we have a sword. Well, the only sword that we have is broken right now. So let's actually try to... My man boy, yes. Yeah, so until we actually have a proper sword, which we don't have yet, main boy, yeah. Until we actually have a proper sword, let's not try to face him yet. And, well, we would have had a sword right now if we actually broke the armor immediately, but again, let's just go through the intended order. We do, however, have this key that we found in the kitchen. Which means we no longer need this key. I might as well just try to throw the key in here. Key to the cellar. Yet again, he just throws it and it just ends up at his feet right there. Oh, question for the chat. Were you aware of this game before this stream? Okay, cellar. No, what? Icy and repugnant. Alright. Yeah, so these rats, for some reason, they sound like eagles. I have no idea why, but yeah. Okay, so we can use those bullets to reload the revolver. Okay. If you grab this block, that moves. Which leaves that hole open. A breeze goes through it, icy and repugnant. So, yeah. What is under this thing? Well. So yeah. I don't think we're supposed to go here yet. But we do get a bit of backstory. Yep. Yes. I mean, I kind of assume that you know Starlight, yes. Alright, so it's through this book that we get a bit more context on the pirate that we just met.
The Trial of Captain Preggst. As reported by his faithful companion Elisha Smith, known amongst his fraternity by the awful name of Captain Ellie Hell.
Ooh.
Transcribed from the log found aboard the wreck of the frigate Astarte by H. Hartwood.
H would be Howard Hartwood, which is the father of Jeremy Hartwood.
By all the devils! Roared Preggst, glaring at William, the judge. Curse it, Will! It'll take much more than every cannon in the blasted navy to make me change me mind. You're the greatest blackguard that ever joined our fraternity. Am I not Preggst, captain of the Astarte and bloodiest villain in all the seven seas?
The ship Astarte, it will also feature in 2024 in the 2024 game. It does change a little bit based compared to how the Astarte is in this one.
Bloody Izzik, they call me. And you think I'll tell you where I hid my treasure? The tribunal of the Corsairs fraternity murmured at this. Preggst was indeed all he claimed. The judge, One-Eyed William, slammed his fist on the table and silence was restored. Shut your mouth, Preggst!
Okay, so I know this is not One-Eyed Jack, but just the fact that they're using the one-eyed thing here and then for One-Eyed Jack, I just think it's kind of funny. That said, I do love to imagine that this One-Eyed William, he lost his other eye instead. I don't know, just to kind of match things up. Like One-Eyed Jack lost this eye, and then One-Eyed William, he lost this eye, just to, I don't know, vary things up. That's just how I like to imagine it. I have no idea. I don't think there's ever a proper artwork of One-Eyed William, but yeah.
You didn't pay the fraternity its rightful share, and that means only one thing. You'll hang by the neck from a yardarm, you scurvy cur! Here's the rope twisted by Satan himself. You threaten me, Will. Many a man better than yourself has lived to regret holding a cutlass in my face. You'll be begging for mercy, mark my words.
It is... I don't know, I think it's kind of funny how there's references to Satan, which ends up, weirdly enough, being some kind of foreshadowing because Alone Dark Inferno has you facing against Satan. Probably not intended, but I don't know. In a weird way, it kind of is foreshadowing. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
That shook One-Eyed William, and no mistake. Danny waved his hook in the air and shouted, "Prext was always a loudmouth. The law says we hang him." The jurors took up the cry, "Hang him!"
Well, the juror said it.
It was Preg's turn to slam his fist on the table. He threw back his head and roared with laughter. "You fools! You want to kill what will never die? Try it!" Once more, the assembled corsairs murmured. There was unease in the air. They remembered what happened to Chuck, the gizzard slitter, the man who opened his mouth once too often.
Come think of it, it's not just the Astarte, by the way. Prext himself is also kind of different in the 2024 game. Yeah, so is it like a split timeline thing? Actually, there's a little bit more to that. Like, you could say, oh, it's a reboot. They just do whatever they want to do something different. Yes, but it's almost canonical that it is a reboot. There's a very weird reality-altering thing going on in the 2024 game, and I will talk about that when we get to that.
It was night, and a bitter wind whipped the New England coast. Snug inside the Dead Horse Inn, one of the Astartes men was talking. His name was Chuck, and his subject was black magic. He told stories of human sacrifices, voodoo rites, and zombies.
We haven't met enough zombies today, huh?
He told a tale of a time when their luck was down and they were holed up in a Florida swamp. Prigst went missing. When he returned, he shouted, "'Tis the devil that guides us now, me hearties!"
The line, "'Tis the devil that guides us now" also returns in the 2024 game.
Whether that was true or not, the Astarte began taking loot after juicy loot. The favorite song of the Astartes men, "Crash the Bones," was replaced by a new one. "A skull, go to port, saber, to starboard. Pass over that will, and with death you'll deal. If you cut a rope, cut the right, I hope, or then, I don't mind, the death you will find."
Yeah, so what's the point of all this? There will be a moment later where there's going to be several swords placed on, well, not so much a maze, so much as some platforms that you have to maneuver over. Yeah, this says, "To starboard, pass over that, and yeah, if you cut a rope, cut the right, I hope." So it's just directions where you're supposed to be going. It's not that big a deal, because I am essentially going to make all these tips completely irrelevant when I do a certain shortcut.
The next day, as you may have guessed, Chuck's body was found with a dagger plunged between his shoulder blades. Chuck's face was fixed in a ghastly grin. Molten lead had been poured down his throat.
Ouch.
Whatever way things happened next, and I don't have the details, Prext was with us again, and we set sail for Florida. We anchored the frigate not far from New Orleans. Taking a few trusted companions with him, Prext set off into the swamp. They carried large wooden chests with them. 2 days later, we heard shots being fired and screams. Prext arrived soon after that and claimed they'd been attacked by alligators. He alone managed to escape with his life.
Oh, well, we'll just have to take Prext's word for it, right? Because he seems so trustworthy.
He went on to say that the time had come to share out the spoils of our many loots. I was given command of the Astarte, while Prext handed 3 chests over to the crew. The chests were full of gold and precious gemstones. The rum flowed that night, and the stars shone bright. All at once, I noticed a tall man dressed in black. Prext introduced him to me. "Here's a hearty mate. You can call him Keith. Many a tale he could tell." Prext laughed loudly and held up a roll of parchment. "And his hideout, None better.
So, speaking of Nyarlathotep, yeah, Keith is another mask of Nyarlathotep, and I don't know, I kind of find it funny how, oh no, here's another mask of Nyarlathotep. What is his name? Keith. Like, he might as well have been Bob at this point. Like, oh no, not Bob. I don't know. Is that not like Keith that threatening a name, honestly?
The parchment fell to the ground, partly unrolling. I noticed what seemed to be a map of underground tunnels, a veritable maze of caverns. Pregst continued, I'm giving up the pirate's life. The Astarte is in your hands now, my lad. She's a fine ship, and my reputation goes with her. Should any man call me coward, then break his head for me.
Okay.
I'm leaving you only because I found a treasure more precious than the purest of gold. Keith spoke to him then. It is midnight. They are ready, and we must go. The stranger turned his cold eyes on me and said in a soft, chilling voice, Sometimes Pregst talks too much. Forget what he just said, and maybe you'll live.
All right, Keith.
The fellow's words froze the marrow in my bones, and it was all I could do to mumble, I'll not breathe a word. The canoe slid away into the night. Their torches disappeared in the distance of the swamp. My snoring companions didn't hear the insidious rhythm of far-off drums.
Yeah, so I might as well just point out here. Pregst also kind of becomes like a mask of Nyarlathotep. And yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, okay, so do multiple masks, do they exist together or something and just have individual thoughts? That's kind of the thing with Nyarlathotep. Yeah, so in H.P. Lovecraft, the god Azathoth is actually the one dreaming all of existence and all that. Nyarlathotep is in fact kind of the will or the conscious part of Azathoth. That's what Nyarlathotep is. And just think of how in a dream sometimes you just look through a dream from one point of view and then suddenly you just kind of switch to another point of view. That's Nyarlathotep. Nyarlathotep just kind of weirdly controls different parts of reality, I guess. So that's kind of how you're supposed to kind of look at how Nyarlathotep has a mask as Keith, but also Pregst, even though they are kind of talking to one another. It's weird dream logic with H.P. Lovecraft, so just kind of go with it. Well, we learned enough from this cellar. Okay, so we do have some arrows now, so might as well just actually use the bow that we've been carrying this entire time. Okay, so we covered up that. Target practice. Alright. Bow. You know what? I'll save here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to re-equip it the entire time. Okay, let's see. I think this should be... There. Nice. In one go. Okay, so yeah. I guess we no longer need the bow. Wow, again, he just throws it in. Okay, come think of it, yeah. I already pointed it out in the previous stream, but I figured I might as well just show it here yet again. You don't actually need the bow. You could also just throw the arrows like this and get the same result, really. And this is also essentially my way to get rid of all these arrows just so we don't need to bring them along everywhere. Yeah, so this is what the G's was pointing out in the previous stream, which is that these paintings made by Jeremy Hartwood. Here's the well, I think that's no, the other one's the Dark Man, right? Let's see. Yep, that's a tree thing. That's a foreshadowing for later. Here are the standing stones. And here's the Dark Man. I guess the other one could also just be another Dark Man thing. But yeah, these are the paintings that Jeremy Hartwood's diary was talking about. Oh, another book. Well, we've been reading books all this time. Oh, it's a fake book. Okay, in Emily Hartwood's intro, she did talk about the standing clock, which in fact was hiding a key here and a parchment. Well, let's just read this parchment while we're here.
The Creatures of Night by Hubertus the Bald. Translated from Latin by his brother in prayer, Fratre Johann Marcus.
Yeah, so in Alone Dark 2024, Hubertus the Bald, we will get some more from his writing. He doesn't appear as a character so much as, yet again, just him writing some more documents.
Of monstrosity. You who read me know that night engenders monsters and that night creatures exist. The accursed book of Abdul al-Hazred is clear on this matter. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Unhappy he who knows that book.
Yeah, so the accursed book of Abdul al-Hazred, that would be the Necronomicon. Here's another thing. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of a little hint there that you will actually find the book of Abdul al-Hazred, which will hurt you. So try not to read that, I guess, unless you are in a certain spot.
Unhappy he whose eyes alight upon that foulest of texts. Unhappy he who implores the standing stones, for he will free the powers of darkness.
It is also unfortunately in this thing that there's a little error in how they programmed, well, not necessarily programmed so much as there's a typo that makes it so that this note doesn't work as intended. Because I guess their way of making it so that there's an additional page, I think it's by doing /p. I feel like that's the most logical reason for why this happens, because somewhere down the line they forgot to actually add the slash or the space afterwards, and thus you will see just a random p in there, which would not be consistent with the voiceover, and you will see what happens as a result.
Of the pit. Stagnant waters are like the memory of men. Beneath the surface calm, clawed beasts await and are known to initiates as the deep ones.
We will meet some deep ones as well, these fish people.
Awaiting his prey, the deep one seizes him and drags him down to the abyss, where Dagon, the cruel god, swims and reveres him whose name may not be pronounced.
Ooh.
Of libraries. Unhappy he who frees the prowler. Unhappy he who meets the prowler erring among the books. He generates the vagabond that comes from other spheres. He believes the vagabond does not exist.
Well, let's hope we don't meet this vagabond, huh?
He will feel the embrace of death, for in the eyes of the vagabond, books are no more than dreams, stone no more than wind. The vagabond knows how to take the breath of the reckless.
Okay, well, again, let's not piss off this vagabond then.
Of strife. He who speaks does not know, and believes he is able to kill the creatures of the night. Folly! Evil is conjured up by science and secrecy.
Yeah, notice how this voiceover, it stops at science and secrecy. Yeah, there's a lot of other things here. It starts with a P. Again, I think they were meant to add a slash and then a P, which programmed it to be the next page. But yeah, this typo happened, and thus this next part is not voiced now, but if we go to the next page, suddenly it starts yet again from "He who prowls among books will perish by the blade." So yeah, so once I actually go to the next page,
He who prowls among books will perish by the blade. He who flies in the dark caverns will scream in fear. He who swims in the depths will evaporate. But he who believes he knows nothing. He who knows says nothing.
yes, I wish somehow it were possible to just kind of edit things just a little bit, just to make this work as intended. But yeah.
Of death. There are domains more terrible than death. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Each creature is conjured up and is not dead, but returns to the origins. A monster, a science. Steel kills the vagabond who never dies.
Guess we'll have to find out what this steel could be, huh?
Translator's note. Here ends the manuscript of Hubertus, who died in the library of the convent of Teruel in the year of our Lord 1666.
Oh no, 666.
Requiescat in pace.
Yeah, the convent of Teruel, and the library of it, in fact, we will actually end up there in the 2024 version of the game. Yeah, I don't think we need the Creatures of the Night. I mean, most of these books, we don't actually need them anymore. But I like to believe that Edward Carnby still wants to keep as much of the research as he can. Library. Oh, this room is in the dark. Well, better light up the place. Yeah. Well, you can't really interact while you are holding this lamp, so I put the lamp down so I can explore. But as you explore, oh no! The vagabond that they've been hinting at this entire time. Well, better find the steel that can kill this vagabond. Yeah, you can just... Generally speaking, this is where some trial and error happens until you figure out, oh, there's a mechanism to trigger. Well, we do have this false book from that room. And look at that. A secret room in the library, which, yet again, was hinted at in Emily's intro. And this talisman is the only item which is properly animated in the world itself. That's essentially the creators kind of saying, hey, this talisman, very important, do not miss this. Okay, so, here's the dagger. Oh, but here's another dagger, and here's another dagger. Okay, which of these daggers are we supposed to use then? So here's a parchment, another parchment, a book, and another book. Okay, so, reading. So, yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is should I? Yeah, okay, I'm just going to read this immediately.
Ludwig Prien. De vermis mysteriis.
I wonder why it took so long for that. Yeah, anyway.
Domine invocatoris, si non sanctificatus es, cave. De vermis mysteriis non absolvo folem legendum fatum et eum versus. Tibi magnum innominandum signa stellarum nigrarum et...
Well, that seems a little bit ominous. Okay, so do not read that book. Unless you are in this circle. Yeah, so...
Domine invocator...
Whatever. Look at that. Yep. That is odd. That circle was supposed to protect you. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so if you go back... Maybe I'm just not in the center. Maybe that was the problem. Let's see.
Domine invocator...
There we go. Yeah, I guess I was not in the middle enough, I guess. But yeah, as long as you are in the middle of this thing, all these books, they won't be able to kill you. You are so terrible at throwing these things, Edward. Come on. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, so since we are safe here, let's read some books here now.
Juan Luis Jorge, De Biblioteca. Reflections on the power of the verb in certain texts. Archaeos Publications, 1919, Stafford.
Yeah, so Juan Luis Jorge, he actually becomes important in the Alone in the Dark 2024 game, if only because he will essentially be the big good. As in, Jeremy will have a dark side and a light side. Juan Luis Jorge is going to be his good side. Mostly because Juan Luis Jorge is essentially Jeremy Hartwood's comfort character. So yeah, it's through his comfort character that he has Juan Luis Jorge as a kind of Buddha figure, I guess.
Translation does not alter the occult power contained within such forbidden texts. The malevolent energy is in no way diminished. The spell must be cast aloud and clearly, in certain languages or little-known dialects. Maglafar Fathang.
So, if you actually read the title of this stream, I did call it Cthulhu Fatang. There's going to be a different book that very clearly says Cthulhu Fatang, but...
The reader will understand that, in the light of these revelations, I would be foolhardy to continue quoting from the text I have before me.
Well, better don't do it then.
Spoken aloud in its entirety, it would surely awaken powerful and malignant forces.
Yeah, would be such a shame if we read a book and suddenly we just... I don't know.
I will go further and say that simple reading of some of the more technical passages describing specific practices is in itself a perilous exercise. The ill-prepared reader can easily fall prey to attacks of demented hysteria, not unlike those described in cases of individuals said to be possessed by evil spirits.
All right, then.
I recommend the study made by Zempf, Urbain, Grandier, and Loudon, and the reports made by the Reverend Richard Price concerning a number of astonishing, to say the least, exorcisms carried out in a parish near Providence. Given what I have written, we must be grateful to the librarians of the British Museum, who have never allowed consultation of the work of Al-Azif's startling work, the infamous Necronomicon.
Yeah, so if you did not know that Al-Azif's book was the Necronomicon, they outright say that the book of Al-Azif is the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon actually has another little link to Edward Carnby specifically. Yeah, the name Edward Carnby, well, this is out of universe now. Out of universe, the name Edward Carnby comes from John Carnby, which is an H.P. Lovecraft character who, or at least it's in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, who's someone who wanted the Necronomicon to be translated. There's a whole thing there. So yeah, that's a little reference to where Edward Carnby, the character Edward Carnby, got the last name Carnby from, for John Carnby.
Copies of that work do exist, in spite of the zeal of book-burning inquisitors. For proof, we need look no further than the British Museum, of course, and the sealed archives of the Miskatonic University in Arkham. Other examples of books whose evil can be unleashed by any thoughtless reader are von Jutz's von Unersprechlichen Kulten and the abominable De Vermis Mysteries by Ludwig Prien, whose sordid death should be a lesson to all those tempted by a study of the occult.
Okay, so there's a lesson there. Do not read the Vermis Mysteries. Let's not read that, I guess. Kind of a late thing to figure out, but okay. I am going to keep Reflections of the Power of the Verb, if only because it's actually at least in canon, it's a good book to actually have. So, okay, Parchment.
The Sacrificial Dagger, Otto Stern, Lumina Books.
Well, we were trying to figure out this whole thing about a steel that defeats the vagabond.
The importance placed on ritual sacrifice is constant in religious cult practice. Propitiating the gods is a theme common to many religions. The Old Testament affords many examples. Primitive polytheistic belief systems integrate sacrifice in their rituals as part of the recurrent process of reaffirmation and, naturally enough, group cohesion.
This voice is so freaking snooty, man. The importance placed on ritual sacrifice. Ooh.
The members of their social and religious community come together in an act of purification and atonement. It would be erroneous to imagine the act of human sacrifice linking priest, offering, and God, C.F. Manzetti, stone cults, as anything less than a vital focusing of the group's faith. The act also ensures the continuing appeasement of the god, but only if practiced by a recognized officiating priest using the appropriate instrument.
Well, let's just hope that we are enough of a priest to just do this, I guess.
Studies made concerning primitive religious groups bear witness to the central role of sacrifice in living ritual. My own work in the field of ethnopsychology brought me into contact with a sorcerer living in the region of Arkham. He introduced me to the rite of steel, linked to a ceremony known as adoring the black goat of the woods with 1,000 youngs. The god being adored is known as the vagabond.
Yeah, so the black goat of the woods that Shub Niggurath, that's also an important god that we face in Alone in the Dark 2024.
Here, the dagger's role, which allows the life breath to pass from one dimension to another, is essential. The vagabond is a frightening figure, being able to move where he wants and to kill those who have displeased the goat god, for whom he acts as a go-between. The goat is clearly a fertility god. The priest, having spoken the invocation, must choose the appropriate dagger for the sacrifice. The knife with a sinusoidal blade that must be dipped 7 times, on night when the moon is full, in water that has been distilled 100 times, will be laid aside, since it would send the vagabond back into his own dimension.
So yeah, it's going.
See illustration.
So it's a little bit of a double negative thing. Like, oh, you should not use the sinusoidal blade because it would send the vagabond to his own dimension. So don't do that. Thing is, we actually want to get rid of the vagabond, so we actually do want to use the sinusoidal blade.
The priest will rather choose the dagger with a curved blade. That is more appropriate for slitting of the lamb's throat. This act transfigures the sorcerer priest and plunges the assembled worshippers into a divine trance.
Okay, so we don't actually want to bring worshippers into a divine trance. We just want to get rid of the vagabond, so we are going to use the sinusoidal blade instead. That means that the other 2 daggers... Yeah, okay, so here's sinusoidal blade. We don't need this dagger. And we don't need this dagger. Okay, there's still 1 parchment left, so let's read that.
The Book of Yael, Signs of Stone, Eucharistic Rituals of Forbidden Cults. Texts collated by Monsignor Vacher, legate in the Curia of the Vatican.
Numerous devilish cults speak of monstrous creatures called the Old Ones. These supernatural beings are believed to be possessed of powers equivalent to those of the gods of antique religions. Adepts of such cults refer to forbidden literature in order to cause these frightful entities to appear before them. What serious student of folk myths has not come across the names of Cthulhu and Shub-Niggurath?
No, Cthulhu and Shub-Niggurath, we've never heard those names before.
It must be said that these creatures wield tremendous power and are difficult to control once they have been unleashed into the world. Those who serve He Who Goes in Shadows protect themselves with signs of stone, carved into the walls of houses or engraved on various objects. For those misguided servants of evil, the best protection appears to be that afforded by the sign of the most ancient gods, engraved in Manar stone, a heavy material said to be disagreeable to the touch.
Yeah, so in case it wasn't clear enough with this talisman being the only thing that has proper animation on it, if that wasn't enough of a clue that, oh, this thing might be a little bit important, here they outright say, hey, grab this thing, you're gonna need this.
The sinful practices of those who fall into such errors can only lead to the darkest of despair, and are a mortal danger to the soul. Such monsters as those invoked by these foolhardy individuals are engendered when reason drops its guard. Man is easily tempted into perversion.
I mean...
It is why we must forever remain alert and renounce Satan with each breath we take. His ways are infinite in number.
And one of his ways is to become a bunch of tremors that travel all over the place and try to take over Edward Carnby, so Edward Carnby can say that he's the frickin' universe and all that. Yeah, Alone in Dark Inferno is kind of weird. I mean, this whole franchise is kind of weird, but... Okay, yeah, okay, might as well keep that as well. I think it shouldn't be too heavy. Okay, so we've done some reading. Let's actually try to get rid of the vagabond. Where are you, buddy? Oh, there you are. Okay. So that takes care of that. I'll see if I can keep the sinusoidal blade. Excuse me. Let's see. So there's a book in this bookcase, and none in this one. Yeah, if you just go to one bookcase and you do search, you just search the entire bookcase. So you don't need to look for all the different parts of the bookcase. Just go to one part of the bookcase and that should be enough to look over the entire bookcase. Okay, here's another book.
Here's another book. Finding several books here. Oh, can I? Okay. Maybe I should leave behind the dagger right now. Okay. Was it this one that I did not grab? Oh, okay, so I guess the books is still heavier than the dagger. Okay, let's see. Reflections, a key. I am going to need a key. Memories, revolver, oil can, lighter. Right, the gramophone is probably the big heavy thing that can... Oh, I don't need the dresser's key. Let's see if that's already enough. There we go. Okay. Okay, and just to be safe, let's return back to the circle thing. More reading. We are in a library after all. Of course we have to do a bunch of readings.
Fragments of the Book of Abdul.
Okay, well, usually we should not read this, but fortunately we are in the circle. At least I hope I'm in the proper position for the circle.
In the antique city of dead Relia, Cthulhu dreams and waits. In the pit of time, the unspeakable lies in wait. That is not dead which can eternal lie. Relia, your blocks of stone seal the ritual that gives birth to fear. Cthulhu Fatang! Cthulhu Fatang! Ayah! Ayah! Let he who knows how to invoke the stones act. It is time. Let the shadow of Cthulhu darken the sky. May the servitor of the black goat of the woods with 1,000 youngs sound his flute in honor of the unspeakable. Cthulhu Fatang! Cthulhu Fatang! Ayah! Ayah! May he who may not be named cast his withering gaze upon the unbeliever. For he is the door, the key, and the guardian of the door, and holds you now in his immense power.
Well, this Al-Azif seems to be a very healthy individual. Ayah! Ayah! Yeah, so fortunately, because we are in a circle, yeah, just checking. Yeah, because we are in a circle, that makes it so we don't get hit by the curse. Okay.
The Sons of the Sun and of the Shadows. Lieutenant Lope de Vega's account of his astounding travels to the land of the Aztecs.
Holy Christ! Cried Captain Cortez, astonished by the strange rite we beheld. We found the savages half naked. They were throwing balls of silver and gold at each other. They laughed as if demented, clearly maddened by some heathen drug. And yet, should one of them fail to catch the ball thrown in his direction, the poor devil was seized and dragged off to be sacrificed in their temple. As we discovered, this frightful game was a ritual most holy to them, and symbolized the movement of the heavenly bodies. The dropping of a ball foretold a catastrophe.
Catastrophe.
That is what the Aztecs believed, in their godless ignorance. Their countless deities could only be appeased through endless human sacrifices. The victim's heart, which was still beating, lay in the hand of the murderous priest.
Anyone here seen Indiana Jones, where that one guy grabbed the heart of someone? Either that or Sub-Zero, you know, that's also a thing.
The interior of the temple was surprisingly cool. The weight of our armor, our exhaustion, even the burden of our suffering, they were all banished by a sense of awe that the crudely magnificent altar instilled. In the tomb-like silence, a deep voice chanted an incantation. The majestic statue of the water goddess, Chalchi-Huitlique, seemed to throb with vitality.
Okay, I just remembered it's not Sub-Zero who actually grabs a heart from someone. It's Kano who does that. Sub-Zero instead, or at least for the first Sub-Zero, he grabs them by the throat and then rips the entire head out off and all that. So just correction on myself right there. Anyway, the majestic statue of the water goddess Chalchi-Huitlique. How does that one look?
This massive stone, draped in a golden cloak and studded with precious stones, was coming to life before our very eyes. Horror of horrors! The granite eyes of the statue, empty of life only moments before, were now injected with blood. We staggered back in amazement. Dom Jose was taken by a fit of convulsions. He tried to raise up his crucifix, as if to ward off an attack by demons. The heathen priest laughed cruelly.
Cruelly?
The statue's mouth cracked open in a deathly grin, bearing teeth sharpened to dagger points.
Well, this statue seems kind of horrifying. Oh, a question for the chat. Is this the kind of game you would play? Before our very eyes. Indeed.
Captain Cortez cried, "Attack!" But it was no use. We were glued to the spot. First, we were unable to move. Our armor seemed to be bolted to the temple floor. Our legs weakened, and we collapsed in a thunder of steel. Only Cortez had the presence of mind to unsheath his dagger. He hurled it at the cackling priest. 4 inches of the finest Toledo steel buried itself in the heathen's face. His blood spurted, splashing the now lifeless idol. We picked ourselves up with difficulty. Never will I forget that terrible moment. My companions, naturally enough, told tales of devilish enchantments cast upon our armor. Whatever the truth of that, I could not deny that the supreme god of the fourth universe had treated us as mere playthings. I am convinced that a terrible energy is yet contained within that heathen statue. A power strong enough to change a proud conquistador into a helpless puppet.
That is quite a statue, isn't it?
Shrine of Chalchi-Huitlique by Dom Jose de la Sierra, done before the destruction of the Aztec temple of Tenochtitlan.
Yeah, so now I kind of allow myself to, I'm supposed to grab the statue, so I'm gonna have to throw it at the armor because the armor is of a conquistador. There you go, that's how you're supposed to know it. So now that I actually know it, well, I actually have been able to read this, now I allow myself to actually grab that thing. But we have 2 more books to read.
Unfinished chapter of Terra Incognita by Jacob Van Ostate. A hitherto unpublished fragment of the manuscript unearthed following indications furnished in the Vatican Library's Expurgatory Index.
Yeah, Jacob from Ostad is also going to appear in Alone in the Dark 2024. A little bit of a smaller role compared to Juan Luis Jorge. However, he is kind of like the opposite of Juan Luis, because Juan Luis is essentially like Jeremy Hartwood's comfort character, as in he's the guy that Jeremy Hartwood will go to in his mind in order to have peace and all that. Jacob van Ostad, however, is kind of like the guy that the identity that he goes to if he needs to indulge in his darker thoughts and all that. So yeah, Jacob from Ostad, he's kind of like the opposite of Jeremy Hartwood. Not Jeremy Hartwood, the opposite of Juan Luis.
In those icy and unwelcoming lands, the rites of wizards and healers are deeply rooted in ancient legend. Mysterious and cruel beings are thought to have ruled over the Arctic plains in times past. A cursed city, enclosed by massive walls, is believed to stand to this day. It contains fabulous treasures and is inhabited by the degenerate descendants of those who instilled centuries of terror in the hearts of the people.
Okay, so this whole cursed city in the Arctic and all that, yet again, we will actually visit that in the 2024 game. I think what I like about 2024 games is that they just take a lot of things that was just text in this game and then actually made it proper stuff that you actually visit. That's one of the things that I do really appreciate about the 2024 game.
These people, naturally placid, are seized with rage and horror at the very mention of the prisoners of the ice.
Oh, speaking of which.
Were these dreadful captives to be freed from their frozen cells, they would reap a horrifying tribute of human flesh. These blood-curdling beings may be invoked by certain ritual words. They can even be controlled, albeit with the greatest of difficulty.
All right, then.
I admit to being impressed by these tales, repeated to me on many occasions and in a number of different places during my travels in the region. I have also seen troubling cult objects, sculpted in a material unknown to me. Another remarkable fact is that local Eskimos experience great distaste in pronouncing certain words, and invariably avoid saying them.
Words that we don't want to talk about and all that. I mean, we literally just read a bunch of words that would hurt us if we actually read it, unless we are on the symbol.
Here is a living example of the power that words contain. As it is said in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word.
All right. Yeah, this will be the last book in this library.
If Rocks Could Talk, or The Story of a Louisiana Plantation by the Marquise de Chamfray.
Yeah, so this is essentially going to be the backstory of the Dressetto Manor itself.
After the criminal selling off of Florida by the foul usurper, my father elected to remain in this inhospitable land, where we were free at least to express our royalist feelings, and hope our country would come to its senses. In 1818, a certain Pickford bought up Ledoux's land, after the poor fellow had ruined himself in unfortunate speculation. Pickford soon turned out to be the most loathsome human we had ever encountered.
Well then.
He was an adventurer of the worst kind, nouveau riche, and bloated with a grotesque sense of self-importance. First came the incessant army of men with shovels, digging into the mountain of earth that was to fill in the surrounding swamp. The undertaking was quite stupendous. We learned from a slave that the final objective was to connect the existing caves with another one of gigantic proportions. Racked by a mania of persecution, Elia Pickford constantly fired his workers and hired new ones. He did all he could to keep anyone from learning about his plans. My father was amused and said, "The poor fool will end up getting lost in his own cave." But the walls went up, and tongues started wagging. Our detestable neighbor had been a sailor, a ruffian grown rich on questionable trade. Distasteful stories were told of him.
Yeah, so here we actually get a proper map of the of the manor, the Derceto Manor. So I don't think my mouse is showing, is it? Maybe I can adjust it so that the mouse actually is visible. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see. No, still not visible. Ah, well, yeah, but still, to the right, that's the entrance, and then you go straight, and that's how you end up in the upper floor through the through the stairs, the central stairs. On the lower left, that's the kitchen. To the upper left, that's the spider's room where we got the arrows, and in the middle, at the top, that's the dancing hall, and at the bottom, that's the dining hall where we found all those zombies and put the pot of soup there. Yeah, so that said, we from the dining room, we went into the smoking room, but there was still a door that was locked. We actually have the key for it now because we were in Jeremy's room next to this library. So now we can actually go down there and open that door.
When the work was finished, Pickford invited us to the opening of his rambling mansion, which he named Derceto. My father asked what the strange name meant. Pickford answered, "Derceto reminds me of Astarte, the fertility goddess. Around here, the name is Shub-Niggurath, I believe. That a name so steeped in evil should be said aloud came as not such a shock to my father, as he himself confided in me some while later."
Yeah, so the name Derceto is actually a different name for, well, both Astarte as well as Shub-Niggurath. So that's a little link there, and they go a little bit further about that connection in the 2024 game.
We left immediately.
Just the entire page just to say we left immediately.
In June of 1862, Derceto was burned down in unexplained circumstances. It was undoubtedly the deed of some jealous Yankee or another. It was amazing to watch the servants rushing into the flames to try and save their bullet-riddled master. After that terrible night, Derceto fell into ruin. Its blackened walls were soon overgrown, as human-built works always are, by ever-present nature.
I do feel like I missed the book that talked about how this happened. I'm gonna have to go back down there just to grab it.
In 1875, the property was eventually bought by a gentleman whose name was Edward Hartwood. I was sorry that my father, who delighted in fine conversation, was no longer alive to enjoy the company of this new neighbor. Learned and well-versed in history, he had made a particular study of piracy. It was Hartwood who told me that Pickford had commanded a ship that flew the flag of piracy. That explains the scoundrel's great wealth.
I can't help but notice just the the black and white, the black and white type of writing here, where Elijah Pickford, he was a terrible man. He was a terrible man. Hartwood, he was amazing. He was great. It's unfortunate my father was not able to meet him back when he was alive. Just how black and white that could be.
Hartwood was fascinated by Pickford and undertook a great deal of research in an attempt to find some treasures that he was convinced the pirate had hidden. He went through the ruins inch by inch. He then had the burnt-out house rebuilt exactly as it had been, and refurbished the library that had miraculously escaped the flames on the night of the Great Fire.
Yeah, so because of a certain Yankee, as they said, all of Derceto burned down, but then Howard Hartwood bought the place and restored everything exactly as it was originally.
Hartwood set about studying every volume in that library, and often talked to me of his research. He was a handsome widower, deeply attached to his son Jeremy, who was later to become a professional artist.
Well, I'm sure this Jeremy is gonna have a fine life ahead of him.
Hartwood worked incessantly, first from the room I offered him, then from his own freshly restored home, which he rebaptized Derceto. I imagine he hoped to enlist the help of the god of good fortune in his treasure hunt. As far as I have ever been able to tell, all his searching came to nothing. There were no lost treasure to be found at Derceto. I learned of Hartwood's death while I was in Paris. But that, as they say, is another story.
Oh, I'm off. Have fun. Oh, then don't forget to sheath your sword as you leave. Yet again, it's in the shuriken thing. So go to the shuriken and then sheath your sword. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, Vanilla Ninja, you sheath your sword and disappear into the night.
I shall have my revenge.
And look very cool as you do so. Yeah, good night, Vanilla Ninja. Alright, yeah, let's see if I can find the book that I was meant to... Oh, no, we don't need the dagger. We also don't need the dresser's key. I wonder if I am able to grab the statue of Chalchi Huitliquay. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Chalchi Huitliquay. Alright. I forgot to grab the oil lamp, didn't I? Yes, I did. Of course I did. Well, it's a good thing I found out about it now, otherwise I would have had the same thing happen as... Well, not too bad if that were the case, really. Because I already intend to switch back to Emily Hartwood. Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, but if I can't grab the key, that probably means I can't even grab the statue. Let's see. If I put it here right now. How about now? Nope, cannot carry anything else. Okay, let's see. What can I get rid of? Wait, is this? No.
Memory.
You know what? Elsa Bolskin, that's essentially just a reference to Shadow Comet. I can be without that. Story of Louisiana Plantation, Terra Incognita.
Unfinished.
Okay, just for the 2024 game, I want to keep that one, actually. Son of the Sun. Okay, that is essentially our hint in order to use this statue in the first place. So, I don't need... Okay, statuette is still very heavy. We don't need to know about the sacrificial dagger anymore. No. There we go. Okay, so I'll just leave this lamp here. I will have to remember to actually grab it again. Okay. Let's have some proper positioning. Chalchi Huitliquay. Go Chalchi Huitliquay. Of course. Okay. Let's try it again. Chalchi Huitliquay, go. There we go. Okay, so we have a sword now. Oh, no. Okay, I guess Edward just decided to walk all the way up here. Well, thank you for that, Edward. But I did not actually want you to get up there. Okay, so we don't need the heavy statuette. We do need the oil lamp, though. Okay, fortunately I am actually able to grab it. Good. Okay, now that we actually have a proper sword to use against Ezekiel Prext. Right, there was also a book that I might have missed. I think it's over here. I'll just call this Versus Prext because that's what's coming up. Okay, was it in here? Okay, here's the record. I think it's actually inside this. Okay, well, good thing is we actually do have... Oh, we did not need a jug. That's a good thing. Yeah, okay. Guess I'll just get rid of the jug. His throwing is still amazing, of course. Okay, yeah, but we went to Jeremy's room and we got this key. So I think it's here that we actually find... Okay, this record, this is the one we actually need. And the book. Okay, so I did not actually miss it. Okay, good.
The Tale of Captain J.W. Norton of the Army of the Union.
Come to think of it, by playing in the intended order, the way you actually find out about J.W. Norton after the book about the plantation, that actually makes more sense in terms of order of figuring things out. So
1862. The South was in collapse. Louisiana was open to us. I had each day to requisition victuals for our troops, and was aided in this endeavor by a score of brave men. Rebels were not yet ready to lay down their arms. The region was far from safe. I headed further and further west, and questioned many freed slaves. From them, I learned of a plantation on the coast. Its name was Derceto.
yeah, so yeah, in this particular order, it does make more sense to actually first learn about Derceto as a plantation and all that, and then hear about, oh, it burned down for some reason by some Yankee. And now suddenly we read this book that talks about, oh, this J.W. Norton, he goes to this plantation on the coast. Its name was Derceto. Oh, that links a bit better in terms of order there.
We received a less than hearty welcome. Only Pickford, the owner, behaved in a friendly manner. While my men counted cattle and grain reserves, I learned what I could from him. Man was most unusual and possessed an extraordinarily cultured mind. At nightfall, I gave orders for the men to bivouac at Derceto. Pickford invited my second-in-command, Lieutenant Patterson, and myself to dine.
All right.
And our host proved a most entertaining conversationalist. While coffee was being served, Patterson went to inspect the men's camp. The cigar Pickford offered me was so acrid that my head began to spin.
Yeah, so that's why that cigar was there with the smoke, and it, it would have damaged you if you did not use the jug of water on it.
I remembered campfire tales of fellow officers trapped by devilish Confederate tricks. My mind floated in a foul and dense fog, from which emerged the enlarged and deformed face of Pickford. He grinned at me.
Well, this Pickford seems like a very nice fella.
Patterson's return chased off the nightmare. I heard shouts and firing from outside and found the strength to take out my revolver. I fired 3 shots. Pickford fell to the floor. Patterson then helped me out of the burning house. The air was filled with smoke. We resembled a company in disorderly retreat. I saw slaves leaping into the flames of that inferno. They were trying to save Pickford's life.
Yeah, so, in the plantation book, we read about Pickford being bullet riddled and all that, and that a bunch of his slaves were trying to save him from the burning manor. So now we actually know. Okay, so yeah, J.W. Norton, he's the Yankee that actually shot Pickford, but now we know it's not that because he was a jealous Yankee so much as he kind of noticed Pickford was being kind of a monster. Okay, so the old cavalry sword that I was talking about, yeah, so we have the broken saber and we have the blade. So if you put the broken saber in it, yeah, you put the, yeah, you have to put them both together in order to actually open up this thing. If you did not break it, that just means you can just put the entire blade in this place as is. You can go down here, but if you do, you are going to miss out on a certain thing that you need in order to properly finish the game. So this is why it is actually mandatory to actually fight this pirate. And fortunately, we have a proper sword for it now. Versus Brixed. Oh, sheesh. Honestly, this fight is mostly luck. You just have to kind of hope that you happen to be in the right position and try to corner him. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Just try to corner him until there's no way for him to defend against your rapid slashes, I guess. Okay, the key. The key is, because if we actually, let's see if I can, yeah, story of the Louisiana plantation. Whoop, yeah. So, we are in the upper right now. So, if you go through this door, oh, look at that. That's the dance hall that we've been to. And fortunately, we just got this key from him. That's the key necessary in order to open the door to the dance hall. And, yeah, the key to the dance hall. Fortunately, there's also another book here.
Daemonia Particularis, Signs and Rituals, by Heinrich Cassel, Ring Publications.
The ritual of invocation demands that the officiant be pure. We have already described the complex operations to be followed in order to call those that sleep in superior dimensions. We shall, for the present, limit ourselves to the sign of mutual recognition used amongst their number by adepts of the cult of the Old Ones. The sign also serves as protection when in the presence of a servant of evil.
Yeah, this sign will also appear in the 2024 game.
The sign resembles a blessing, save that the first and little fingers are both folded beneath the thumb, whilst the second and third fingers are held up. It would appear that this sign has no effect on adepts of a certain rank with knowledge of particular secrets contained in the corpus demonicus. The use of such signs is not without considerable risk to the user during any attempt to call upon those from without.
Alright, so the description of the sign, yeah, again, the sign will appear in Alone in the Dark 2024, but yeah, the first and little finger, so these two, they are underneath the thumb. So yeah, that's the sign that they're talking about. That was the sign I was doing during the Cthulhu Vatang thing, so yeah. Okay, so this whole thing with the records and all that. Yeah, this essentially would have been a whole Dance of Death.
this would have been a trial and error thing until you find the proper song that you need to play in order for these statue ghosts things to actually dance around, so that they are away from the key that's on the fireplace. So yeah, there's no way to properly find it unless you just try them all out. So I'm just saving a bunch of time now by just immediately going for this one. Dance of Death. Okay, let's see. Oh boy. Woo. Yeah, if you actually... Oh. If you hit them, this happens and they will keep chasing you forever. And they are instant kill. So, might as well just show it here. That's why I was being so careful about how to move around there. So let's try it again. Okay. Whoa. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, you just need to get out of the room, and thus, that's how they all end up despawning. As for the song, Dance Macabre, or the Dance of the Death, that will also play during a certain sequence in Alone Dark 2024. And we know we don't need this record. But yeah, now that we have this key, now we can go down. Because if you did not have this key, you will have to backtrack all the way up here just to get this key again. Alright, I guess I did call it Down We Go, so might as well just call it Down We Go. Yeah, so this looks like a point of no return, but actually there is a way to return, which I will show pretty soon. And actually, knowing what's going to happen, I will equip this rifle. Oh yeah, so here's the Chthonian again, the giant worm. And also, the last time we will face this zombie chicken. Okay, so you could try going this way, but then... Oh no! It blocked the path. Guess we better move back here. You know what? I think I will save at this point just to show something. Down we go. I guess run from the Chthonian. Okay, so we could go to the left or to the right now. If we go to the right, that's where we're supposed to be going. But if we go to the left, yeah. This will lead to... Wait for it. There we go. This is how we can return back to the basement. So yeah, this is how you can backtrack if you missed anything. But we have everything, so I'm just going to continue how we're supposed to be moving. Yeah, so we kind of circled around the Chthonian. So we can fall over here. Okay. So I immediately used the rifle because from this point on, you will fall into the water. And the cartridges are wet. Oh no! Thus we can't use this rifle anymore. This is also where we're supposed to do some platforming, but really you do not need to. Like, you can just go through the water like this. And through that shortcut, hey, this is where the whole hint was with go starboard, go right, etc. You don't need to. Just Just go through the water and skip all of that. Okay, I will, yeah, escape from Chthonian, right? Okay. So, why did we need this key? Because we need that key in order to open up this chest. And in this chest, we will get this gem. This gem is vital to actually beat the game. If you did not have that key from the Dance of Death thing, you would not get this gem. You would not be able to beat the game. So, go backtrack all the way over there just to get that key from the Dance of Death hall thing. Also, there's this book, and, well, unfortunately, this is the last book in this entire game. But, it's been fun, wasn't it? So...
Memoirs of a Lost Soul.
At least it doesn't disappoint in the overacting.
The mask must fall. You who discover this manuscript understand this. I am here at your side. I am waiting in the darkness of my crypt. Soon you will belong to me. One of my slaves wrote this document. I have lived for 3 centuries, and my name is Ezekiel Prext, or Elijah Pickford. You may choose which to call me.
Vanessa. I will call you Vanessa. Okay, so, Ezekiel Prext or Elijah Pickford. Yeah, so, big twist here. Oh, wow. The pirate Prext and Elijah Pickford, who actually built Derceto, they're the same person all along. Yeah.
I do not hide out of fear. My power is immense. I have sailed the 7 seas. My ship, the Astarte, spread terror through all the continents. The corsairs judged me like the Welsh judges of 1620, but they could not destroy me, and neither could the pirates. Now, I am immobilized. Damned Yankees!
Well, I guess Vanessa is immobilized. I wonder how Vanessa is immobilized here.
Witchcraft, voodoo, and the Cthulhu cult. I know them all. I have reigned and implored the stones. Only the Chthonian haunts the cavern and resists me, but he dare not attack. I have need of a living body to regenerate myself. The Hartwoods managed to escape from me, but you who are reading these words, you will yield to my embrace.
So, Vanessa wanted to take over Jeremy Hartwood's body, or actually he wanted to take over Howard Hartwood's body, was unable to, then tried to get Jeremy Hartwood's body, was also unable to because Jeremy was, well, yeah. So now he decides, you know what, I'm gonna try to get your body. If you were playing as Emily Hartwood, it would make more sense in order of, oh, just going through the different Hartwoods. Right now, Edward Carnby technically has no real relation to all this. He just has the bad luck to suddenly be put in this whole situation. But yeah, now Vanessa wants to take over Edward Carnby's body.
I hear your ragged breath and smell the stench of your fear. I have vanquished death. I built Derceto. I know what it is to wait. Cthulhu helps me. My servants will lay you upon the sacrificial stone. My roar will rend the night. You will be mine, and I shall reign once more. Come to me.
Alright, easy there, Vanessa. Anyway, in the previous playthrough, this is when I found out, oh, I actually forgot to grab the oil lamp again. So I went to a different save file and thus continued with an older save file where I played as Edward Carnby instead of Emily. So here's the little opposite of that. I made a save file where I play as Emily. So now we're going to continue with Emily instead. Okay. I guess Emily decided to tag in, even though the whole idea was that Edward wanted to escape from all this. Turns out he was able to escape it by switching over with Emily. I don't know how that works. Alright, Brex is flirting with me. I guess I'll just use the dark library thing. Okay, yeah, so, Alone in the Dark. So, why did I decide to name it that? Because... Oh, room is in dark. Oh, right, I should actually light it up with the lighter here. There we go. So, this is kind of like a time limit thing because the time that you have is the amount of oil that's in the oil lamp. When that runs out, yeah, everything will be in the dark. And obviously it would be kind of impossible to properly navigate through this labyrinth. Fortunately, I do know the proper path you need to take. So if you just know how you're supposed to navigate this labyrinth is really not that much of a problem, really. You're essentially moving in kind of like a big sea, I guess. Yeah, and that's where you end up here. And this is what the gem is for. If you did not have the gem, you would not be able to open up this door. And thus you would not be able to reach the final battle, where Vanessa is here, being immobilized, as he said, in that tree.
Oh.
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 Oh. Okay. Okay, oh, well, fortunately one of those fireballs hit the deep one. Okay, so you grab the hook. The oil lamp, it turned off because we entered the water. So we light it yet again. And then, this is when the oil lamp, we can throw it to burn the tree.
Oh.
I guess I missed. Okay, well, let's try again then. Oh, it was already lit. Okay. Oh, right. You only need to light it once. That's interesting. Anyway, here's the hook. I forgot. Yeah, the big important thing before you actually throw it is to put the talisman there first. Oh, sheesh. Okay, so by putting the talisman there, Vanessa would be unable to actually attack us, and that's when we actually throw the oil lamp. There we go. Get out of here. Well. Okay, well, we did just grab a hook, so how about we immediately use it? It is kind of funny how in Alone in the Dark 2 we will fight against more pirates, and thus the hook yet again becomes another key. Okay, this way. Oh no, the cartridges are wet. Oh. So yeah, fortunately, I guess because Ezekiel Prext is defeated, that makes it so that the Chthonian also wants to leave this place. Oh, come on, there we go. And without the Chthonian, it's easier to just run back to the basement. Alright then. And yet again, because Vanessa is defeated, we can just exit the manor without that green black hole killing us. Okay, so unfortunately, while Edward Carnby had that that little yippee moment, Emily is a lot more I guess she's not as happy as Edward is, unfortunately. Like, it's just a little yay, I guess. I don't know. I wanted more goofiness out of you, Emily. Come on. Alright then. Just have a final twist, question mark, at the end of everything. But yeah, that's Alone in the Dark, 1992. Again. So yeah. Still love the game despite its aged... Yeah, the aging and the weird voice acting. It's still has nostalgic value to me. So, yeah. So, I think that would be it for this stream. What's coming up next? On Wednesday, I have another game trade with Lanpro Kopaka, who's going to continue with Devil May Cry 3. And after that, I am intending to... let's see. What is up next? I did have a whole schedule thing here. Schedules. Yeah, so after the Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, next Sunday is going to be Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. So yeah, I'm going from one franchise that I'm obsessed about to another franchise that I'm obsessed about. So yeah, that's going to be Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and after Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, like literally the day after, in fact, which is on a Monday, I'm going to start a new series of streams called Ninja Gaiden for Beginners, because Ninja Gaiden tends to be seen as very difficult and all that, and I intend to kind of show how not as intimidating it actually is if you just know how you're supposed to play it. So that's the intention with Ninja Gaiden for Beginners. So yeah, that's the three things coming up. So Wednesday is going to be Game Trade Blue with Devil May Cry 3 with Lanpro Kopaka, and then Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and then Ninja Gaiden for Beginners. So yeah, look forward to that. And I guess with that, I'm just going to end the stream. Remember, if you strive to be better,
be better than your enemies, be better for your friends, and be better than yourself. Take care, and see ya.